Hi, continuing my look at the Empire Strikes Back Topps book, which was put out by um, Abrams Comic Arts. And this book basically had all of the Topps cards in it for Empire Strikes Back. And today we're going to be taking a look at Series 2. So here's Series 2. I like this border. We haven't talked about that yet. The borders usually for Topps cards were like one color or something, or they had some star fields on blue for some of the Star Wars cards, like for the first movie. But here it's that classic sort of like the gray metal that would be the border of these titles, usually like a Empire Strikes Back, for example. So here are the ships. The twin pod cloud car is more of a terrestrial thing. It wouldn't really be in space, but here it is. The Star Destroyer Slave One, renamed nowadays. Rebel Armored Snowspeeder, which again is a terrestrial thing. Well, it was always shown as being a terrestrial thing. TIE Fighter. The Avenger. That's what this is called. There's also Executor and other ones. I always read it as Executor. There's the Rebel Transport. I had the toy of this. It was really, really great. TIE Bomber. And here are just scenes, and they're going to have trivia and stuff. When and where do the Star Wars adventures take place? And I guess the answer is on the next card. On number 145, yeah. So, what is Princess Leia's last name? Organa. What is the first spaceship ever to be seen in a Star Wars movie? The Blockade Runner. You can read these questions as I go through them. But still more scenes from the movie. I like too that Empire Strikes Back sets up the 3-act structure a bit better than the original, in that there's a clear, there are clear locations for each thing. So it's like it's Hoth in the beginning, and then the second act is split among like basically Dagobah and space, with like the Millennium Falcon being chased by the Empire, and then the third act is Bespin, basically. That's cool. You get another X-wing fighter, not Luke Skywalker. Vader and Snow Troopers. Yeah, I had a couple Snow Troopers. That was my first Stormtrooper, actually. They're pretty neat, and I like the fact that they had different kinds of troopers. There's the speeder bike troopers, which look very, very different than the Stormtroopers. Pretty cool stuff. R2 gets his own little adventuring going on, accompanying Luke on Dagobah. Soldiers of the Empire. This whole business, I know they have breathers, but you figure they'd also be, subject to the rigors of space. But I don't know, maybe they're saying that the worm has its own sort of ecosystem inside it. Those breathers, of course, were also made by Kenner. Kenner didn't miss a trick. I mean, there's some things from the first Star Wars that they never made, like the Banthas, for example. And they had a blockade runner that they never produced, but it was something that they were planning, but they just didn't like the design of it. It just looked like a one-man fighter. Nowadays, Hasbro would totally okay something like that, like that weird, like the ship from Rogue One, is just a one-man fighter when they made the 3¾ inch version. Lego, of course, remedied that by making it be able to hold all the minifigures. So it's pretty cool. Lando's game. There's more quiz questions. This shot was used a lot in marketing. And here we go with the a gruesome fate, the carbon freezing. This deal is getting worse. Boba Fett. Some more quiz questions. What is the name of the three-pronged twig Yoda uses as a stick? Answer to Star Quiz of card number 212. Oh, it's the answer in 214. A gimmer stick. Okay, I remember that. Who serves as personal aide to Lando Calrissian's on Bespin? That's the Lobot. And it's right there. You know, it's funny they never named the Lobot. Once again, it's something that you learn from having the toys and looking through their catalogs and everything. The merchandise was a big part of Star Wars. There's a lot of blank spaces that they filled with just the merchandise alone. And it's one of those things that when people say, well, they didn't say this in the movie. Well, they didn't say a lot of things in the Star Wars movies. But I learned like character names and stuff like that from the Kenner toy line and things like these cards. Here they're getting into the actors. So actress Carrie Fisher, Han Solo, Harrison Ford, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. And they're crediting Kenny Baker as R2-D2, which is pretty cool. Billy D. Williams. Billy D was a star before Empire Strikes Back. In some ways, I feel like blockbusters like Empire and Return sort of ended his career. And maybe I'm wrong, but like he was a leading man in romance movies and stuff. You know, like Mahogany and Lady Sings the Blues. Those made him a huge superstar. And he was a guest on the Jeffersons about maybe 2 years before Empire Strikes Back came out. I don't know if they had announced that he was going to be in Empire, or as they called it back then, Star Wars 2. They don't mention it at all in that special guest spot. He is playing himself. Basically, it's a sitcom thing. He is meeting with Mr. Jefferson to plan out like some sort of charity event. The maid thinks that Mr. Jefferson had hired some sort of lookalike or something like that, and she's like the biggest fan on the planet. And then she makes an ass of herself in front of Billy D until she realizes that it's the real one, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's a typical 1970s sitcom stuff. There's Irvin Kershner. And so we're back to movie facts, talking about what Irvin Kershner has done in the past. Eyes of Laura Mars and Loving. Yeah, the kids buying these cards don't know what that is. Here they're making sure that Chewbacca looks good. It's Kershner directing Mark Hamill and Kenny Baker here. This Bespin Fatigues outfit is classic to me because that was my first Luke. I know other people had like the regular classic Luke as their first, but that was my first one with the lapel pockets. You know, I guess I made a connection to my dad who would wear, you know, shirts to work and stuff like that had those lapels. So it's near and dear to me. I love the Bespin Fatigues Luke. It's my favorite one. So here's more stickers of letters that you can form things in your sticker album or whatever. Pretty neat. Pretty neat idea. And it has like the characters in them, so it makes them appealing. And here's some more stickers. Empire Forces, Darth Vader. The Probot. There was a figure of some sort of medical droid that I always thought was supposed to be the Probot. I had a couple of those, and I just played with them as the Probot, but it wasn't. It had these arms that would come out of it. You probably know what I'm talking about. Here's C-3PO. They're moving more towards having the letters and numbers rather than spelling it out like they did a lot of in the original Star Wars card line. So here's another puzzle. This is the poster art without any of the logos or anything. So here's what it looks like, and here it is assembled. Alright, that concludes part 2 of this look through this book. And be sure to tune in for part 3, where we go through series 3. Take care.